And even in this, whatever this is, may I reach for heaven rather than my own answers. May I use pain as a powerful message rather than a weapon. May my heart grow sweeter rather than bitter. Whatever this is, may I learn the lessons, strengthen my spirit, and adjust my vision accordingly. When I have nothing left, may I find my all in the simple message of grace, that sacred place, the light of my face. And may I always run to hear, well done, once I have finished my earthly race. Hello my friends, welcome back to Epoxy Me That. How are you? I hope doing okay. And I want to thank you for showing up today. Today is Coasting Through the Week, Coaster Wednesday. Yes, it is upon us again, my friends. If you aren't familiar with this, it's a collab between two other artists and myself. That's Resin Me Up and Marvelous Artsy. If you have a YouTube channel and enjoy making things using a coaster mold, then why don't you join us? We do this weekly on Wednesdays, so you can drop me, Mary, or Marva your video link, and we will make sure you're in there. You can use any title that you'd like. Nothing specific here. It's easy peasy. I'm going to be using this coaster right here. Now this one is rather large. Your average coaster is 0.5 inches. This one's 0.8 inches deep. Whoa. And it has this beautiful effect on the edges there. Isn't that pretty? And it's really deep. I'm going to be using two of those. And then for the smaller ones, I'm going to be using these two. Now, I used these last week trying to get the LARIMAR effect. And we're going to go for that again this week. But remember, I asked you all last week if you'd like to see it again this week. But we would do smaller coasters versus bigger coasters and see if we get a better outcome using the bigger coasters. Okay, I thought that would be interesting to see. So maybe if someone wanted to use the smaller version coasters, then they would know if it's going to work or not. And then it just won't be a waste of time for them. Okay, so let's get to it, my friends. I have chosen for coaster number 1 my Amsterdam acrylic ink in rose. I'm going to pair that with Aqua Splash, which is a Baltic Day pigment paste, with my Cast and Craft white. My coaster number 2 is going to be Amsterdam acrylic ink in neutral gray and Baltic Day Rebecca purple pigment paste, with my Cast and Craft white. Then this is where it gets a little tricky. I didn't try this last week, and I thought it would be interesting to know this week. I'm going to try my Hildy and Joe transparent pigment. It's transparent. I just said that, didn't I? And I'm going to pair that with my new DIY Craft Resin pigment paste. This is highly pigmented paste for epoxy resin. And this is new. Oh, it's one of my new products I just got. And we're going to use the Cast and Craft white with that. Then I'm going to try this Pearl X mica powder in sapphire blue, paired with my Amsterdam acrylic ink in primary yellow, with Cast and Craft opaque pigment white. This seems to be what you have to have for any color, so we're going to have this in all of them. I learned that last week, that this must be one of the key ingredients to achieving the LARIMAR effect. All right, if you'd like to see how I get on with that, then kick back, relax, and let's get to it. I don't know how much I'm going to need for this coaster, so I'm guessing I just mixed up 4.5 ounces, okay? And I've divided it out into 4 cups here. So I'm going to put my Cast and Craft opaque pigment in the first cup, my Aqua Splash in the second cup, and my Amsterdam acrylic ink and rose in my third cup, and then this one's going to remain our clear resin, okay? And I'm using the Bond Crafter epoxy resin for this. It's a 1-to-1, meaning it has a part A and a part B. And I mix them together for 3 minutes. You might check your epoxy and see how long you need to mix yours for. So now I'm going to put you on a time lapse while I mix these up, and I'll meet you back. Okay, my colors are over here. I have let them sit and degas for about 3 minutes. Now we're ready to pour. So I'm going to spritz some alcohol into my coaster here to get around those edges and then the bottom of the coaster to make sure we don't have any bubbles. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pour our white. Okay, now we're going to go in with my Amsterdam Pink Rose. That's my acrylic ink. Next, I'm going to go in with my pigment paste, Aqua Splash, and that's Baltic Day. Then I'm going to go in with my clear. Okay, so not too shabby on that amount. All I had was a tiny, tiny bit of clear left, and I probably can get it in there. Yeah, that's not enough to do anything with. Now, what are we going to use for our center on this one? Let me look. I really liked this pink when we used it last week as one of our centers. So let's give it a try in this one. Okay. That's coaster number 1. I'll meet you back for coaster number 2. Before I go, we need to run the heat gun over it right quick. Pop any surface bubbles. And then I'm going to spritz it with some alcohol. Okay, now I'll meet you back for coaster number 2. Okay, I've got my colors mixed up over here. I mixed them up on a time lapse. My first one here is my Cast and Craft white. And we're going to go ahead and spritz a little bit of alcohol into the mold here, and that's going to help with our bubbles. Now let's go ahead and pour our Cast and Craft opaque pigment white. just going to scrape my cup out. Now I'm going in with my Baltic Day Rebecca Purple resin pigment paste. And it's rather transparent. Or that might be the opaque one. This might be the transparent. This is my Amsterdam acrylic ink in neutral gray. Let me scrape the rest of this cup out. And then this is my clear. Okay, now I'm going to do for my center this gold right here. It's just some gold chips. I wonder if I should put a little bit more. Here we go. Now I'm going to take my heat gun. I'm going to let those go ahead and get in the center before I put any heat on it. Okay. I see one of the little gold things right here. I'm going to get it out right quick. Okay, now I'm going to spritz some alcohol on the top there. And I'm going to move this one and we'll move on to coaster number 3. Okay, this is coaster number 3. So I'm going to spritz some alcohol into my coaster here. Now we have went down to the smaller size coasters. We've already done the 2 big ones. This is our first smaller one. I'm going to go in first with my Cast and Craft Opaque Pigment White. Get my cup cleaned out here. Okay, my next color is the Hildy and Joe Transparent Pigment. So we're going to go ahead and go in with that. Then I have my DIY Craft Pink Resin Pigment Paste, and it's my opaque color. And now this is my clear. I didn't get to put all that one in there. All right. Sorry, I was trying to get this again. I don't know if I want to use that one or this one. Let's do the pink again. Y'all can tell I really like this pink, don't you? I'm going to give it time to get there in the center. Okay, now I'm going to use my heat gun, pop any of the surface bubbles. And I'm going to spritz a little alcohol to pop those surface bubbles. And now I'm going to move this coaster and get the last one. Okay, I mixed all my colors up right here on a time lapse. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz our last smaller coaster with some alcohol, and that's going to help out with the bubbles around the edges and the bottom, which will be the top after we demold it. We're going to go ahead and go in with our Cast and Craft white opaque pigment. Now we're going to go in with the yellow Amsterdam acrylic ink, primary yellow, and this is going to be our transparent this time. Now I'm going to go in with my opaque, and it's going to be my Pearl X Sapphire Blue pigment mica powder. This is the only mica powder we've used in the whole experiment. And then that was my clear. So let's see what that mica powder does this time. I'm going to use this gold right here mixed with a little bit of silver for my center. That'll be pretty if it'll turn out. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take my heat gun, and we're just going to pop those surface bubbles. Alright, we're going to spritz a little bit of alcohol to pop those surface bubbles. And now we wait, my friends. I'll meet you back for demold time. See you later. Y'all ready to demold our coasters and see what we got? Now, the difference between last week and this week, well, there's two differences. Well, there's several differences. I think I'll list them, okay? Number one, we used small coasters versus big coasters. Number two, we used the Let's Resin UV resistant epoxy resin because it's less viscous. This week I used my Bond Crafter epoxy resin to see what it would do. I don't know yet. We're going to have to see if it worked or not. And then the third thing was I threw in a mica this time. And last time when I put the mica in, I used it as the white and messed the coaster up, remember? So this time I didn't use white as the mica. I used my Cast and Craft opaque pigment as the white. And I just threw in a mica powder in the one of the colors for the coaster. The next coaster that I do is going to be the other smaller one, and it's the one that I did the mica powder in. Okay, so let's go ahead and demold this and see what we got. You ready? Oh, we didn't get much of nothing on that one. So, the Hildy and Joe transparent pigment does not work. Yeah, so don't use that. It doesn't work, you guys. It's got something going on. If I wouldn't have used this and would have chosen something else, I probably would have gotten a better turnout. But that's what we got. Here's the other smaller coaster. And this is the one we put the mica powder in, the blue mica. I believe it was sapphire blue. Okay, y'all ready? Oh, we got something on that one. Look at that. I love the yellow on the edges peeking out. This one turned out pretty. What do you guys think? Okay, now these, as I was watching them from the back, they're so interesting, my friends. I mean, it looks like some kind of I don't know, like something from outer space. Look at that. And this is just the back of the coaster. I don't know what the front's going to look like, but this right here is very interesting. Looks like a hole in the center. Isn't that neat? All right, let's get it out of here and see what it done on the other side. And these are our thick coasters here. All right, you ready? Oh, wow. I don't know what kind of effect that is. It's not the LARIMAR. I can't pick it up. But it's pretty. That's really pretty. I wonder if the reason we got that effect is because of the way the coaster is shaped on the edges. I don't know. That's got me really puzzled. Huh. I think I'm going to try. I'll do it by myself. I won't make y'all suffer through any more of these. I know there was some people that wanted to see it, but there's probably a lot of people that just don't care about seeing these anymore because so many people keep doing them. So, I don't know. But to me, I like seeing them because it's a different effect every time somebody demolds it. You never get the same coaster twice. They're always different. And this right here is bizarre. Just bizarre. And I'm going to say the other one probably looks about the same as this because it looks the same on the back. Let's go get it and see. Okay, here's our last one. And look at the back. Isn't that neat? See if I can bring you down and let you see it a little bit better in the light. That's crazy, right? Okay, let's get it out of here and see what's going on. You ready? It's a little bit different. A little bit different. It looks like it's trying to do something else through here. But it just couldn't quite get there. I'm gonna say that the reason this happened, and I could be wrong, but I'm almost willing to bet they didn't have time to make it to the LARIMAR effect because the coasters are so thick and the resin was more viscous than what we used last week, and it just couldn't get there. It just couldn't make it to the LARIMAR effect, and this is what we got before they cured, and nothing could move anymore. So that's going to be my guess. By the looks of this test, we could say the smaller coasters work best for the LARIMAR effect, but then that wouldn't be a fair test. I'm going to try this one more time using a less viscous epoxy resin. Then I will feel confident in my findings. Don't worry, I won't do it in another video. I know you all are tired of seeing these. I hope this video helped someone out, even though we did not reach our answer yet. Don't forget to go check out the others and see how they are coasting through the week. See what they are up to. And it's about that time, my friends, for a sweet goodbye. And I will see you in the next video. God bless you. Goodbye, my friends.